we're both women that are, in transition with our kids and as mothers. And we've connected on this so many times, but it's a real thing. And just even talking to you and hearing about your passion for interior design and really making spaces look new and beautiful has kind of, yesterday I was like, I need to really get some stuff off my plate and not work all the time. You know what I mean? And work on some stuff that really light that spark inside of me in a new way that can be very individual to me and not about Studio 88. So there, yeah, that's coming for me. I can feel it,
Yeah.
especially, with Aaliyah, I've got 3 years left and I can see really just as she moves on to college, like, or whatever's next for her, stepping into something new. So
It can be a scary time. I think that I've really wrestled with that. And I have friends that have like gone to the other side of it. And I think the best advice that I've received is really find something that lights you up and that you love. And it doesn't matter what it is.
hi, friends. Welcome back to the Story Project podcast. I am your host, Joanna Scott, and today's episode feels really special because of who I get to share it with. Leslie Costas is a wife, mom to 3 incredible boys, and a woman who has built a life full of service, community, and creativity. She has led booster clubs, chaired fundraisers, sat on nonprofit boards, and made space for her family and community in ways that often go unseen but never unnoticed. She is also a dog mom, a travel lover, and someone who believes in showing up wholeheartedly, whether that's at the soccer field, a gala, or around the dinner table. I'm so excited for you guys to check out our conversation today. You're going to love it. Well, hey, Story Project podcast listeners. I'm so excited to introduce my guest today, Leslie Costas. Leslie, welcome to the Story Project. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thanks so much for having me.
This is going to be a super fun conversation. I always begin with how we met. We first met you back at the Dental Success Summit in 2018. We were guests of Mark's. And for those of you who don't know, Leslie Costas is married to Dr. Mark Costas, a very well-known name in dentistry, and has been his incredible partner for how many years now?
Well, we've been married 24
Okay.
and together for 28.
Okay. It's really impressive. We're going on well, Saturday's our 29th anniversary. So I'm dating myself.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. We did get married young. I don't recommend it, but it's all good. So the past 5 or so years, we've just had a lot of fun connecting on things like motherhood and raising teenagers. And now we both have, kids that are in college. And so I just asked you if you would jump on and be a guest here. And we're going to have a lot of fun just with all the topics that we cover. And here's my custom bio for you. I already read your official bio, but this is one I made up for you. So if you know Leslie, you know this. She's one of the kindest and most personable people you will ever meet. She's an easy conversationalist, a generous presence, and truly has the best laugh. You have to agree with that. Like when I hear your laugh at DSS, I'm like, I know where she is. It's like my favorite thing ever. Okay, before we get into, the real heart of the story, I have a few table talk questions just for fun to kick us off, okay? Which leftover are you most excited about seeing in your refrigerator?
I think pizza. I have celiac, so like if we have gluten-free pizza in the fridge, I'm always like, yes, I have a slice left to eat.
Amazing. I actually did not know you had celiac. I do as well.
Oh,
Yeah. How have we
something
not?
else we have in common.
I can't believe I know. Wow, that's wild. And I would say at DSS at Summit, like all of the food is I can eat everything, and it's one of the few events where I can. And
Yeah,
so I imagine you probably have something to do with that. So thank you.
yeah, the girls have been so accommodating and helping with all the dietary restrictions. So it's been great.
That's awesome. What's the best thing about the age that you are now?
Gosh, I'm 48, getting closer to 50, and I think not caring about what people think as much about me. I think in our like 20s and 30s, and especially teen years, you're just kind of more like focused on that. I don't know. So I think that has changed a lot in me.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's good. That's very freeing actually too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I know that you are a sports mom. So which sport is the most fun to watch?
It's a tie between soccer and baseball.
Okay.
I have boys that have played soccer, baseball, basketball, tennis. And I think I really love soccer and baseball. Those are my top two.
Okay.
I don't think I could pick a favorite. Oh, and Brady plays football too, but like I
Wow.
don't know the rules of football as much as I do for soccer and baseball.
Right.
So I
I,
just am not familiar.
I
Yeah.
do think that football is a little more challenging for me to keep my focus. And Josh reminded me yesterday, he's like, hey, football, like college football starts, Saturday, OSU has a game. And I'm like, didn't it just end?
You're right. Yeah, it's like year round now.
Oh my gosh, just like give it a rest. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Which charity do you think makes the biggest difference in the world?
Oh, that is so hard. There's so many good ones. Smile Outreach, that's my husband's charity. They do nonprofit dentistry in third world countries, and that like is incredibly valuable. In our local town, I think the Boys and Girls Club is one of my favorites. They take care of kids in our community that need after school programming, and they take care of all of their after school needs, and it's just like essential to a lot of working parents in our community. So those are maybe top two.
I love that. That's so important too, because there's that gap between when they get, between parents working, kids are home, and then that can be about 4 hours. And when they're young, that's a
Yeah,
huge need.
huge need. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, well, I want to begin with talking about kind of the story of your family. You have three boys, and I just want to ask you, what does a season look like for you as a mom?
It's kind of changing and evolving right now. We have two out of the house, one in high school still, he's a junior. So kind of all of our focus is on Brady right now. He's playing club soccer and football and doing student council. So he's like very involved in school sports and club sports. And so like I'm really focused on driving him to his practices down in the valley and then carpooling with some other moms. Um, but I feel like I'm kind of getting to the tail end of that momhood where
Yeah.
I'm needed every day, and it's not going to be there very much longer. So I'm trying to kind of figure out what I want to do next.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty close to you. My son is sophomore in college, and then Aaliyah's a sophomore in high school. So I've got like basically
Weird.
3 full school years left.
Yeah.
So I'm like just savoring it
Hmm.
and trying to spend as much time with her as I can because it went so fast with Caden.
Totally.
Oh,
Yes. It goes by like in a I mean, it's so cliche to even say that, but it really does, like in the blink of an eye.
it truly does. When they're in diapers and they're little and throwing temper tantrums, you kind of think that that season is never going to end. And
For
then all of a sudden, I don't know what year exactly, but I mean, when they hit middle school, I felt like everything just started to become, and maybe part of it is their social lives and they're playing, they're involved in extracurricular stuff. It just time starts going, it just speeds up.
Yeah, high school years for sure, I think just like kind of fly by.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Uh, um, Tell me kind of your perspective on being a mom, like in today's culture with I don't know, I just want to hear what you think. Like in our culture, this society where there's a lot of pressure and expectations on our kids, to perform, whether that's academics or sports and you've raised three very intelligent, beautiful young men. And I just wondered, you're a huge influence in their life. Just speaking to culture and society, some of the pressures they face, the pressures we face as moms and as parents. How has that been for you?
Um, Gosh, I feel like no one talks about that.
Yeah.
Um, I think I've just tried to raise them as like kind human beings. Like number one, like respecting people and seeing people's perspectives. Um, but in our culture, like I don't know like about your town, but in Prescott, Arizona, it's a very conservative mountain town. But there are like lots of different groups of people. So just having them be like accepting of all people has kind of been our number one thing. And they were at a really small elementary school, so I think that helped kind of shape them like when they were little. And then they went to public school as they got older, when they were kind of ready to branch out. But I don't know. It's hard. I mean, there's so many things that you don't want them to be exposed to, right? That they're exposed
Yeah.
to so young now that we never knew about,
Yeah.
especially social media and technology. Um,
Hmm.
so, I mean, we waited until they were 12 to get phones, and
Hmm.
I don't know if that was too soon now. Looking back, I think, gosh, maybe we should have waited till after middle school, but like everyone had a phone in middle school.
Right.
So I don't
Yep.
know. There is a lot of that pressure to like stay competitive or do what your friends are doing.
Totally. Yeah.
So that's
That's
definitely a real thing.
That's interesting you bring up social media because that is a huge deal, even with my daughter right now. And I agree with you. We were around 12 years old for phones as well. And I think a huge reason we did that was she's like, Mom, everybody has a phone. How can I be the only one without a phone? She did have one of her best friends did not have a phone for like the first sixth grade year, but then I think it was seventh she got it. But um, so yeah, I would agree with you. I think it just adds this whole component and of um like comparison, and they just, even addiction to your phones, like so it's such a distraction that has been and then even the pressure to like, well, Mom, I want to be on Snapchat and Instagram and I want to listen to explicit music and just like it just the list I feel like, it just goes on and on. I'm like, can we just
Totally.
take one battle per week?
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like, especially in the middle school years, it's overwhelming for the things that they're faced with, right? Like the things that they are dealing with are not things that we ever had to experience.
Completely.
We
Yep.
didn't have phones growing up. You had to go home and call from a phone that was connected to the wall,
Yes.
or go to the office to have someone call your parent. Um, and just like the access they have to content 24/7 that's been, I think, the hardest thing to kind of rein in. Like
Oh,
parenting apps are great. We've done all of that stuff, but still they figure out a way to jailbreak out of all of that. They're smarter than we are.
I know.
Technology does. So I
Dang
mean,
it. Yeah, they are. They're so digitally smart. That's the other part of it. You can put all the parameters and safeguards on, but then they can hack it, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Yeah.
they're very smart.
Yeah. You're really, really stupid smart. We'll call them that.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Well, we just so I was telling you this earlier, we moved our son back to college yesterday. And, I think the second time around was easier for me.
Mhm.
We had a good summer. And I will say this, it was an adjustment to have him move back. He is adulting, attempting to, right? He had a year space. He came back enough to visit, and that was great. What I found so interesting? It's this balance of raising college students where, to be honest, they still need their mom. We've raised them to be independent and, for the most part, right? I mean, we still financially support Caden, but we're like trying to navigate, like weaning him off things like, hey, this year you're going to be responsible for this, right? And all of that. But I was so surprised this summer at him reaching out and asking to have conversations and the walks we took and the way he opened up. And he paid me the biggest compliment this summer. And maybe not everyone would take it this way, but he said, Mom, he's like, we're not like every other family. He's like, at least you're not. You just have the hard conversations. I just was like, oh, thank you. You
That's,
know?
that's
But
a huge compliment.
I
Yeah.
know. I was just like, I've done my best to not sweep things under the rug and like, connect with them and ask good questions and stuff. But share a little bit just about your experience with your college boys because there are highs and lows when they leave the house.
There are for sure. I don't know if you can hear this, but there's like a monsoon storm happening right now.
Okay.
It's like pouring rain.
Okay.
Um,
I can't
uh,
hear anything, so
okay.
I think we're good.
Okay, good. I think like definitely my upbringing was way different than I have raised my boys. Um, I grew up in a household where no one talked about anything. It was like conversation at dinner was very limited to like, what did you do today, right? There wasn't ever talk about how you're feeling or like conflicts or problem solving or anything really like that. So I think I experienced that more with my dance coach, my friends growing up. And then in college, same. Like my parents were very hands off. I went away and came home for holidays. But I've tried to really change that with the boys and like try to have hard conversations. And I feel like we've been doing that since middle school.
Yeah.
And I just have to like suck it up and
Yeah.
be like okay with them telling me things that I am scared to hear.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
it's scary with the things that they go through that they tell us. It's like,
Completely. Yeah.
you know,
It is. Right. Well,
so
and just even everything that's out there, that they get exposed to, and you're like, you drive away after moving them in, you're like, you may not know their roommates that well. Every year they typically change, and there's a lot.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when they're living on campus and you don't know what they're
Yeah.
doing all day.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Uh,
Um,
one thing excuse me, one thing that encouraged me the other day was I was talking with my husband, and he said, we were talking about the dynamic between our son and daughter and how it's gotten a lot better now that he's out of the house. They're 4 years apart, but they kind of, I wouldn't say they had sibling rivalry as much as they just never maybe fully clicked. They would have fun times, but then, man, I don't know. He was always pretty spicy with her. And I just could never for the life of me figure it out because we're like, you're our little girl and we just adore her. So, and she's super strong-willed. I mean, I'm raising her to be like as independent fire as you can be. So it's been cool recently, this summer when he came back to see them connect on a different level, more like a friendship. And that was really encouraging to me because I've had all of the previous years so many conversations with him about that. And I never thought I was going to get through. Like, you need to be kind to your sister, you know?
yeah.
There's only two of you. Like, we're going to be a family forever?
Totally. Oh my gosh. I think growing up with three boys, it's been very similar. Like they were wrestling and beating each other up and fighting, and someone was always upset. Like someone was crying, someone was like laughing, and someone was like mad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But now having them, almost being adults, it's like really fun to see their connection to each other. And I love like that brother time that they have together because it is like very limited when they're all three together, but they get along really well now, which is awesome.
That's amazing. Your boys are so cute. Oh my gosh. I, you know,
I did tell them growing up, I'm like, you will be best friends someday, I promise.
yes.
And they did not believe me.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's finally happening.
Yeah. And I think too with boys, like it's so real. I found this, even the difference between the genders of my kids, just the prefrontal cortex not being developed is like an actual thing. And I would even say that, you know, and maybe I'm biased, but my son has more maybe EQ than even some other, kids that are 19, which I'm like, I love that, applaud that. But yeah, even sometimes I'm just like, oh, I think your brain is not fully developed. I need to just accept that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think that we don't know that as moms in the beginning at all.
Yeah, no.
I was like, what is happening?
Right, right.
How come they just don't get it?
Yeah, I know. Gosh, it takes a lot of grace, doesn't it? But
It
it's
does. It's the best job in the world. I mean, I can't imagine not being.
yeah, totally, 100%. And I think it's important that we show ourselves grace too as they go through these seasons and transitions because I listened to this podcast. I don't know if you like Mel Robbins, but she did an amazing podcast a year ago when Caden was graduating, and he's my first leaving the house. And she talked about her last leaving the nest and just how challenging that was for herself. But she also acknowledged it's hard for them too. We're both transitioning at the same time. Um, so anyways, if you ever want to check that out, it was just such a brilliant conversation. And I mean, last summer I was in full grief mode crying. I remember I cried with you at Summit. You just like, because I'm always super real with you and you have such a sweetheart. I could tell I had been stuffing it down. And then, I mean, I could not turn it off after that. I was like, had to go redo my makeup.
I know, but it's real. And like a lot of
Yeah,
people don't even talk about that or like know it's happening until they're experiencing it, right?
totally.
So it is like a kind of like a mourning of a child that you've raised for 18 years and then they're going off to live on their own. And of course, we
Yeah.
all feel so sad about it.
Yes.
Yeah, I did the same thing when Bryce moved, and luckily Brendan stayed in town, so I didn't have that same feeling with him, but he did move out of the house. So that changed like our dynamic at home, with just having
Mhm.
one. So
Yeah.
I
God.
think every one is a transition. You don't know how it's going to be.
Yeah. That's so true. Yeah. So all the moms out there listening that are almost empty nesters or have kids of college, kids in college, Leslie and I,
Yeah, we
yeah,
feel you. We
we
feel
feel you.
we
We
hear
see
you.
you. We hear you. You're seen and heard and loved. We get it.
This is a hard week for a lot of moms.
It is. It is. I have a magnet that I took a photo of actually when I was packing Caden's stuff up. And it's Call Your Mom. And you better believe that's on his fridge in his apartment
I love it.
because it's good for all four of those boys. Call
Yeah,
mom.
yes. We want to hear from you. We
Yeah.
love it when you call us.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, one of the things I admire about you is just how you have poured yourself into your community over the years. And you've worn so many hats from being involved in school boards to fundraising, and you've always done it with such joy. And just the past couple years, it's been cool to connect with you and learn more about that passion of yours. One project that I really wanted you to talk with us and share with our audience is the Dancing for the Stars fundraiser because it was so unique. And I remember getting the email about it, and I was like, oh my gosh. One, I know you love to dance. And I just thought, wow, this is like all of the best of like fundraising and dancing. Those are like two of all of the best things for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like such a smart concept for just like a local community.
Yeah.
So Boys and Girls Club in Prescott and Prescott Valley, they do this fundraiser, and it's that last year was the eighth season. So every year they pick like 8 to 10 community members to be the celebrity, and that person will train for 4 months, 4 to 5 months, learn a routine, and perform it with a professional dancer at the close of the season, right? So at the very end, you perform this dance on stage with all these other people that were selected. And also during that time, you raise money, you fundraise, and that is their biggest fundraiser of the year. They basically raise half of their budget for the year with that one event. So I felt like I had to do a really good job because I came from a fundraising background and nonprofit background in our community. So I felt like I had a lot to prove. Most people that are selected are like, business owners, or they work in the local bank or hospital, or they're like somehow connected in a business way. And I was kind of the first one that was a stay-at-home mom who's doing philanthropy. So I felt like I really have to like do a good job. But yeah, I fundraised and practiced, got paired up with this great couple, Michael and Monique McConnell. I danced with Michael, and Monique choreographed our whole routine. We did a 1940s dance, and it was awesome. It was the hardest thing I think I've done in a really long time. And it was scary, and I wanted to say no. Like that, my gut was to say no and not do it because it
Yeah.
sounded so scary.
Mhm.
But I decided to do it, and we ended up raising the most money that anyone's raised. So that felt really good. We raised like $104,000.
Oh my gosh.
And like as a group, all of the dancers raised about 500,000. So it's super impactful, and it's a really fun night, and we just get up there and do our routine and hope for the best.
It's so incredible. So, okay, how many hours a day did you have to practice and devote to this, or even, per week?
Gosh, the first month we were practicing 2 nights a week for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I was just learning like the basic dance steps that they were trying to teach me. And then maybe like month 2 to 3, we practiced 2 nights a week learning the routine. And then that fourth month, it was probably 3 to 4 nights a week towards the last, like to the buildup of the show, just because we wanted it to be perfect and wanted to kind of iron out all those kinks and any mistakes that were happening. And yeah, I wanted to do a really good job. So
That's
we practiced a lot.
awesome.
Yes.
Oh, I would have done anything to have been there just to see that
Oh,
live.
thank
Oh, that's so cool. Because I'm assuming, did you guys have a live audience? And then was it also filmed?
It was filmed, so they're on YouTube somewhere.
Okay.
There was 2 shows. There was a Friday night show, which was kind of like the icebreaker with no judges, and then Saturday
Okay.
night like the big red carpet. Everyone wore formal gowns. They had judges that judged every dance and awarded winners. And then, yeah, it was such a great event. And I'm so glad I got to be a part of it.
That's so amazing. Bravo. Do you mind if we link that in the show notes so people can see
I
it?
didn't want to.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to, but
Anyone would watch it. It's fine.
oh my gosh.
Go ahead.
Well, Dancing with the Stars, that show is legit. I mean, and I don't know, just obviously that's reminds me of that. And they work so hard, you know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Beyond that experience, you have been involved in leading booster clubs, nonprofit boards, and community organizations. What has that involvement meant to you, personally, and just maybe like why do you have a passion for the nonprofit sector?
I think it started with volunteering in the kids' classrooms when they were little and doing like reading groups and that type of thing. And that kind of just trickled into becoming a board member at their school and then board president. So I sat on their board for 11 years and just was really involved in the day-to-day operations, staff hiring, and education and gosh, fundraising, literally every component of the school. So that was like a really big, impactful thing. And I felt really connected to the kids, my boys, and getting to know their friends and families in our school. And that kind of translated, like once they decided to move out of that little community, I started doing more stuff on like a larger scale, like the Boys and Girls Club, Big Brothers Big Sisters, the Education Foundation. They're just nonprofits in our town that really contribute to the youth in our town. And that was kind of like continued with children. And then as they got older and into high school, I joined their booster clubs for their sports. So I've done baseball boosters and now I'm doing soccer boosters. This is my rating I figured out. I think this is my 8th or 9th year of soccer boosters.
Wow.
So I have 2 more years.
Oh my gosh.
And then I'm done.
Oh,
But for boosters, I mean, the schools don't have the money to equip the teams with what they need, right? So the boosters act as the financial support to the team. So we raise for uniforms, soccer balls, everything they need as far as equipment, everything that they wear, team dinners when they travel, feeding the boys. We do like a team building camp for soccer, coaches, uniforms, like every aspect of it.
yeah.
So the coaches, that way the coaches, all they have to worry about really is coaching the kids and focus on games and practices. Because that's a huge job. I mean, that's a full-time job.
Oh, absolutely. So the communities where you are on, like the community around you, I'm just curious, is there a significant amount of like, would you say working poor or just some like working poor? So definition would be families that they are working very, very hard, but they struggle to make ends meet or they have a crisis and then, they're struggling paying for the extra stuff for their kids.
I mean, I think that's kind of everywhere right now.
Hmm.
Like the cost of living where we are is high and it's hard to find affordable housing and everything else, like gas prices are expensive. Everything is expensive. And then once you send your kids to school, and if you want them to be involved in extracurriculars, that's all extra on top of like regular stuff like lunches. And so I think there's a big segment of the population that struggles with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree. I just think it's so important that, neighborhoods, communities, schools have all of the support of all the things that you are pouring yourself into. I mean, it's truly so impactful. Uh, and I grew up in the nonprofit world. I grew up actually running up and down the aisles of a food pantry because it started off with being a small food pantry. And then they basically, for 40 years, devoted their lives building this multifaceted family assistance center, everything from food to clothes to clinical counseling, medical care. And so it really shaped my perspective. We're in Columbus, Ohio, urban, big metropolitan city. There's so much need here. It's actually crazy. And there's
Yeah.
so much need in really everywhere, whether it's a rural community or a, really huge urban capital city, you can find the need. And so I've always that's my mindset now, when I'm in the grocery store or meeting strangers or whoever it is, most
Mhm.
likely there's a physical need that is there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, I'm seeing like the workforce in our town is hospital workers. There's a few like Ruger gun sales. There's a few places like that, but it's hard to make a living here, and it's hard for young families to afford to live here. So
Yeah.
it's like recruiting teachers to come to our schools, recruiting doctors for our hospitals, young dentists to come start a life here.
Mm,
It's a challenge, and we've seen that for quite a while.
yeah. Wow. Well, I love how much you pour into your community. I'm sure they're so thankful for you. The boosters will be so sad. We're like, we got her only for 2 more years. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Okay, why don't we talk about some fun stuff? Not that that's all been, of course, so fun, but I'm super excited because I just found out that you are an interior designer. I did not know this about you. So in the past 24 hours, I've found out that you have celiac and that you are into designing homes and rehabbing them. So yeah, you were sharing yesterday, we were just kind of catching up on text, that you have really just been devoting some time and energy to some creative projects. And I know that that has opened up some new, possibilities for you. So you've remodeled multiple rental properties, including 3 Airbnbs and then the Dental Success Institute headquarters.
yeah,
Wow. So remodeling space is a big project. I grew up as I mentioned, an urban part of Columbus and with older homes. So our home is over 100 years old. When we moved in, we were thrilled. It was our first, like my parents' first home that they owned. There were 4 of us kids. So we remodeled that home together. Everybody chipped in from everything from stripping the paint off of the wood and then revealing like beautiful finish underneath it, digging up floors. Like we did all of it. We gave my mom a lot of like flack for that. We were, if you can imagine, of course we did.
yeah, yeah.
But actually, I think it brought us together and it really gave us a sense of pride when we were done with that home. I mean, she also has such an eye for design. It was beautiful. And I think we were all proud that we did that together. So,
I
what first
agree.
inspired you to take on a remodel project?
Well, first, Mark decided to move into a new office space, which was next door to his previous headquarters for DSI. And when he moved out of the small space, we turned the top and bottom into an Airbnb. So we had to do a lot of remodeling. It was built for an office, not a place to sleep or whatever. It had two his and hers bathrooms. There was no real like sleeping rooms. So all the offices I converted into bedrooms. We converted one of the toilet stalls into like a walk-in shower. The other one's a potty with a sink, like a half bath. There's like a more functioning kitchenette. We put a stove in there and a bigger sink and a fridge. So it's actually like got a great space. It's kind of chopped up because it is an older property. It was from the 1900s. Um, and then when he moved into his new space, that house was built in 1894. And it was owned by a friend of ours who was an attorney. So they worked out of his law office was in the bottom floor and they lived upstairs. So it had functioned as a work living space. But we just kind of wanted to bring it to life and renovate that and make it you kind of bring it back to what it was prior. So I just spent a lot of time at the historical society in town and looking up old pictures and just really kind of diving into like that time period and trying to find pieces that would fit with that house. So that was just kind of a passion project that I discovered, while I was doing it.
Yeah.
And then since then, we've bought another Airbnb that was built in 1925. So I did that over the summer, like May, June, and got that turned over and it's renting out now. And I just love to see the comments and the reviews that people leave about how they feel when they stay there. And like, I just want to have them have a great experience
Yeah.
living in a home with history. And yeah, it's so fun.
Oh my gosh. So I could Airbnb one of your properties that you've done.
Yeah.
That would be so cool. I would be like, oh my God, my friend Leslie redesigned this. Oh, that would be really cool. Plus, I would trust a home knowing that you put your heart and soul into it and also just like I don't even know. Just like the excellence factor, because I know you. So that would be very cool. Maybe I will just plan a surprise trip and
Oh my gosh, I would love that.
yeah, and
Love
stay at
that.
one of them. That would be so fun. So
Well, I
okay.
think,
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, 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 you're good.
I was just gonna say, like, I kind of got started doing Mark's dental offices. Like, I every time he would move into a new space for his dental office, I would decorate, the waiting room and the hallways and the front desk area. So that was like kind of my start into decorating like a working space without having
So
any
cool.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I'm sure Mark knows how lucky he is, right, to have you. Mark, in case you're listening, I think you know, but in case you needed a reminder. The fabulous Leslie. Okay, so tell me, does every remodel kind of take on its own custom, unique look? Or do you feel like you're developing kind of a Leslie Costas brand in a way of how you design each of them?
I think it's dependent on the house. And I don't know, it's like a lot of treasure hunting. I go to like Goodwill and some of the thrift stores and the antique shops and just kind of see what catches my eye. And I like it's crazy. I probably have thousands of pictures of old furniture on my phone because I have to really think about it and make sure it fits like certain spaces. So I don't know if I have like a look, but
Yeah.
I love antique furniture. I love finding old things that fit a property and like the year that it was built and kind of that time period. So I don't know. There's a few designers I follow on Instagram that are doing really cool work with kind of older homes, historic homes,
Mhm.
and I like how they layer texture and pattern a lot. And so I just really try to do that, but I don't think I'm doing it as well as they are.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, I'm right now you're recording in a space that you have designed and it's gorgeous. And you gave me a little like tour. It's absolutely beautiful. So,
Guest house. Yeah. So
yeah.
when we bought this, the property, it was, gosh, in 2013, we bought this house and the guest house. Um, Everything was from the 90s. Like, imagine the colors from the 90s were like forest green and maroon,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah.
And every wall was a different color. I mean, there was a lot going on. I
So
was like,
basically,
need to start fresh.
oh, some of the 90s vibes, they just basically need to be just forgotten. Like
Well,
I
now
hope, yeah.
the fashion is coming back. It's crazy. My kids are
Well,
stuff I wore in high school.
that is true. That is true. Oh gosh, I guess so. The dark, like, okay, there lately I've noticed the really rich dark hunter green is coming back.
Yeah, I love it as one color.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I've seen it really well done. Very tasteful in like wallpaper form, especially in smaller bathrooms, and that I love.
Yes. Yeah, I love that too. I'm kind of afraid to do that in my own home, but maybe like in a
Mhm.
rental property, I would do that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and
I,
you,
I don't know if you're like this, but I feel like I do less things that are in our home than I do for like the other projects I'm working on. I don't know.
right, yeah. Like you'll kind of be a little more adventurous with outside of the space you live in every day. Yeah,
Totally,
yeah.
totally.
That makes sense. Well, you've been exploring the idea of pursuing an interior design degree, you mentioned, just to deepen your knowledge in things like space, space planning and lighting. What excites you the most about maybe going for that?
Gosh, I mean, to be a student again sounds horrible.
Yeah,
I mean, I can do it, right? But it's
you
three
can do
more.
it.
It's
Yeah,
yeah. So we'll see. I'm kind of just like researching different programs that are online that I don't have to go in the classroom for.
yeah,
Um, they're like a 3-year program, and it would be 25 to 40 hours a week of school.
yeah,
So, um, like if I started that now, I just don't know if I have the time for that right this like in this season with Brady and his travel schedule
right.
so that we might have to wait for another year to kind of push that off, but I don't know. I'll see. I think getting more into the construction side of it too, like working with contractors. I really would love to learn all of that because I know that a lot of that is encompassed in the interior design degree, like learning kind of the nuts and bolts of how to build a house from the ground up.
Yeah.
So Yeah, and we have our middle son, Brendan, who's going into that field. He's really, really
Oh, yeah.
passionate about construction and becoming his own contractor. So he's done a bunch of projects for us, and he's pretty talented. I'm impressed. He's going to renovate one of our bathrooms next
Oh,
week.
no way.
Yeah,
That's so exciting.
yeah, we're so excited.
Oh, good for him. It is so awesome when you see your kids, like when that spark lights up inside and they're like, oh, I love this thing. Yeah,
Yeah, he found the thing that he really is passionate about, which just really makes us happy.
it's amazing. Well, if I don't know if this is any encouragement, it'll, whether you do it or not, go back to school or not. I went back to school when I was 40 to finish my undergrad because I attended a seminary program and then just launched into working for churches and nonprofit world. And so, yeah, I collected the, credits I had, went back. So I basically went back to school for 2.5 years. It was slightly brutal. I'm so glad I did it though, because I also was really at an intersection professionally at that time and had been through some very, just really, it was just a hard season for me. And I was like, you know what? I need to do this to prove to myself that I can.
Mhm.
And it was for no one else other than me. And to
Yeah,
this day, I can look back and go, I retrained my 40-year-old brain to go back and, pick up the textbooks and like go for it. And it was a really somewhat challenging 2.5 years, but also a time that I look back on and I'm like, I grew a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Something to be really proud of, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Um,
Mhm.
and I have to mention, you are an Enneagram 1, which I know you just recently discovered, which is amazing. So ones are known to, to be reformers or perfectionists. And I just have to mention that really the Enneagram ones that I know, which I have two sisters that are ones. I have lots of ones in my life. Their eye for detail is phenomenal. They're so highly organized and like, so I don't know. I just feel like your Enneagram type is probably very complementary to the interior design work that you do.
Yeah. But it's also like I start to go down a rabbit hole of which is the best thing for this space, right? Like, so then I have
Yeah.
5,000 options and then I have to narrow it down
Yes.
and then narrow it down and then pick the actual piece that goes in there. And then I'm like second guessing myself. Did I do the right thing here?
Yes. Yes. Oh,
So yeah,
that's
it's
awesome.
I feel like I'm kind of a nine, to be honest. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I'm both because I am a perfectionist for sure.
Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting? So there's something in the Enneagrams, there's the nine types. It's referred to as wings. So whatever type you are, you have, so I'm an Enneagram 8. I can access both an Enneagram 7 and Enneagram 9. So
Okay.
it's what is on either side of you. So if you're a 1, you can access a 9 or a 2,
Okay.
which is the helper. And so that might be also what you're kind of like thinking through. And
Yeah.
honestly, identifying your type, I'll send you my favorite book because I know you enjoy reading, but it's a really super short read on all nine types by Ian Cron called The
Okay.
Road Back to You. I thought I might have it right here, but anyways, it's phenomenal. And the minute for me, I took a test online and there's an incredible test, and then there's some other ones I think that can mistype you. But the first one I took, it mistyped me, but then I read the book and I was like, oh my gosh, I resonated with the 8 so much. It just kind of hit me in the face in
Yeah.
good ways and bad ways, because there's like this brilliant strength and, this very healthy version of whatever your type is. Then there's the average and then there's the unhealthy, right? That dark side that we all have that we have to grow through and get better. So
Mhm.
yeah, it kind of kicked my butt. I was like, oh, okay, great. I have some things to work on. But it's given me it's brought so much joy to my life and has helped me understand my own motivations and then also other people's on a whole nother level. So
Yeah. And just be more like thoughtful about how everyone like works, right?
absolutely. Yeah, totally. Well, this has just been a really inspiring conversation. I love hearing about like your passion projects and everything that you are pouring yourself into, especially, as we wrap up here, we're both women that are, in transition with our kids and as mothers. And we've connected on this so many times, but it's a real thing. And just even talking to you and hearing about your passion for interior design and really making spaces look new and beautiful has kind of, yesterday I was like, I need to really get some stuff off my plate and not work all the time. You know what I mean? And work on some stuff that really light that spark inside of me in a new way that can be very individual to me and not about Studio 88. So there, yeah, that's coming for me. I can feel it,
Yeah.
especially, with Aaliyah, I've got 3 years left and I can see really just as she moves on to college, like, or whatever's next for her, stepping into something new. So
It can be a scary time. I think that I've really wrestled with that, and I have friends that have like gone to the other side of it. And I think the best advice that I've received is really find something that lights you up and that you love. And it doesn't matter what it is.
yeah,
And just kind of like make a list and figure it out, right? Or
yes,
try things, and if it doesn't feel like it's the right thing, then move on to something else.
yeah. Absolutely. Do you have any last words for the women listening who may be navigating transition? I know you just shared some, but if you have any last thoughts before we wrap up, you're full of a lot of wisdom. And I, I've always been like, oh my gosh, if I get to spend 20, 30 minutes with Leslie at Summit, I'm like, oh, my heart is full.
Oh, thanks, Joanna. I don't feel like I'm an expert at anything. I feel like our connections with other women are the most powerful, and like where we can collaborate and like bounce ideas off each other and figure out like how to be a better person, a better wife, a better mom. So I think that's my advice. Just like make sure you have a good community and a nice group of people that like really have your back.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you. I know you're busy, and I just appreciate this time and just for you being my guest on this episode. You're awesome.
Thank you so much. I had the
Yeah,
best time.
good. If our listeners want to get in touch with you or just follow you on social, where can they do that?
So I'm on Instagram. Mama B3 is my handle. They can just type in my name and they'll find me. I'm not private or anything.
Okay,
And they can message me there.
awesome. Amazing. Thank you again.
Thank you, Joanna.
Well, listeners, if this episode inspired you, share it with your friends. And I appreciate you all. Ladies, let's be fearless together this week. We'll see you
Yes.
next time.